Alright, in this video, we're going to be doing basic hard ops and box cutter modeling, and I'm going to show you how to make this simple model right here very quickly. Let's go. Alright, so if you don't have Hard Ops and Boxcutter, I'll put a video on the screen. Go to Gumroad, go and buy it. If you don't want to buy it, then I don't know what to tell you. This is the tools you should be using if you want to get good at Blender. So don't be lazy. Get the tools right here. Get the right tools for the job. Then what we're going to do here is we're going to scale this cube SZ to about there. And then we're going to scale this on the Y, SY, maybe like a factor of 2 should be fine. And then what I want to do here is I want to go into edit mode, and we're just going to add in a loop cut, Control B to bevel that. And then we'll extrude this face up here in this direction. And then basically, we don't really need these redundant edges right here. So what you can do is select everything and then X limited dissolve like that. And then you're going to have this basic shape right here. Now the next thing I want to do is Control Alt left click. That'll select these two edges here. And then Control Alt and hold Shift to select these. You can also just Shift select these manually. It doesn't really matter. And then we're going to press Control B to add a small bevel, but you're going to see this bevel is a little bit biased in one direction. So that's just because the scale here is not yet applied. So Control A to apply the scale. That's because we scaled the cube earlier on in the video. And now Blender is going to read this as a uniform mesh, and then we can just run a small bevel right there. We can do the same thing here as well. Control B. So you can either bevel all of these at once, or usually what I'll do, just because I've been using Blender a while, so I'm just like efficient with it. Usually what I would do is just bevel these and then just quickly run a symmetry. That's how I would personally work. But you know, you could just select these manually as well. Control B and then bevel. I'm really about efficiency when I model in Blender. You might not think these keystrokes add up, but trust me, they do, and they add up very quickly. So we're going to go ahead and press Shift A, and we're going to add in a mesh cube here. I'm going to scale this down, and we're going to move this up, and then we're going to scale this on the X. Then let's just go ahead and go into edge mode. We're going to take these two edges right here, and let me just bevel those just a little bit. Now you can either bevel, this is going to be a Boolean object, so you can bevel the Boolean, or you can bevel after. I'm just going to bevel this Boolean object, and then right click to shade auto smooth. And then just run a difference Boolean right here to create this shape, maybe scale it up a bit. And there we go. Now in this case, I haven't yet applied the Boolean operation. And I need to do that because I want to bevel these edges right here. I can't bevel those edges until this geometry is applied, until I apply this Boolean. So with Hard Ops, what I like to do usually in a case like this, is just press Q and then Control click on sharpen. That will apply your Booleans for you. You can also do smart apply if you want, but we'll just do Control click on sharpen. And then I can go in here and bevel these edges right here. All right. So we're going to get in and bevel that. The only thing you're going to notice here is that we have these edge markings on the object. Now, if I just undo this really quick to about this point, let me just undo that real quick. You're going to see we actually don't have any edge markings in this particular case. It's only when I Control click on sharpen that it adds those markings. Let me explain what's happening. So whenever you run let me undo this real quick. Whenever you want to apply a Boolean with Hard Ops, if you use the sharpen, if you Control click on sharpen to apply the Booleans, this is simultaneously going to mark all the hard edges with an edge marking. Now these edge markings here are defined in the Control tilde helper menu right here under sharpening. Right now I have all of these turned on. So for example, if I turn off seam and then Control click on sharpen, now we're not going to have a seam. The red seam marking is gone because that wasn't enabled. Now this isn't really an issue. This is honestly never really an issue. The only issue that this could present is whenever you bevel a hard edge that has a sharp edge marking, you end up getting this very clear sharp edge effect right here, right? So what you can either do is press Q and then unmark that before you run the bevel. And then when you add the bevel, you're not going to see that. The other option here, which would just, you know, completely remove this to begin with, is you could simply go into the sharpening menu and just turn all of these off. Well, in specific, the sharp option, which is causing that problem. You can leave these on here. So now when I control click on sharpen, since there's I removed that sharp option, now when I bevel that, we're not going to actually see it, right? So there you go. Another option, just to kind of get off this topic here, the last option is instead of using sharpen at all, you can just press Q, operations, and then smart apply, and that will apply the Boolean, but it won't add any sort of edge markings. In this case, it doesn't matter. We're just trying to apply the Boolean, but just keep that in mind that if you use the sharpen command, it's going to apply sharps based on this selection here to your hard edges essentially. So let's get in here. Let's add that bevel. It's looking good. Maybe a little bit smaller, and we can continue. The next thing I want to do here is press Shift A to add in a cylinder, and we're going to give this cylinder here 64 vertices. Right click to shade auto smooth, and then let's just go into side view, scale this down a bit. We're going to go ahead and just move that up, scale that up a bit more. I think that looks good. We'll just move that up a bit more as well, maybe right here in this area. And then I'm going to tab into face mode. We're going to take this face right here. We're going to move this down on the Z, maybe to about here. And let's press I to inset. And let's go ahead and extrude this up a little bit. I to inset again. We'll extrude this up. And then we can go ahead and maybe inset this one more time. Extrude that down to create this type of shape right here. And let's start with that. Now, the next thing I want to do here, a little bit tricky, but I basically want to create like a wedge, like a 90-degree wedge. Let me kind of show you what I mean here. Essentially, what I want to do is create like a 45-degree type of wedge, kind of like this, but like right here in this area. But I want it to stay connected to the cylinder. Now, I could technically just use this, but you can already see the issue right here. It's not connected to the cylinder. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that and just take these four faces here on the side. We'll extrude that over, S, Y, and then 0, just to make sure this little area here is flat. And then what I can basically do is take these edges here, just kind of move that down. And then maybe we'll just go into wireframe. Let me take this, move that out a bit more, to basically create that shape. We don't really need these edges here, they're redundant. So I could technically go in, F to fill that, and then go in here as well, F to fill that, and we're gonna have this type of result. Same for down here, just a little bit redundant. And but you know, you don't really need to dissolve that out, doesn't really matter either way. And essentially what I want to do here, we're going to go into Hard Ops, and we can press Alt X, and that's going to run a mirror modifier. Now there's two ways to run a mirror in Hard Ops. You can either mirror over the 3D cursor, or you can mirror over the origin point. In this case, it's going to be the exact same result because the origin point is in the middle, and so is the 3D cursor. So it doesn't really matter where I mirror that from. It's going to be on the same axis, right? But say the origin point was like, or say the 3D cursor was over here, and then I mirror over the 3D cursor. That's a problem, right? So in this case, you might just want to reset the origin to the geometry or whatever, or just keep it where it is, because this isn't balanced yet. And then we press Alt X, and we can mirror. We'll just turn this gizmo off. That'll turn off the advanced options. We can turn that off, and then just mirror over the object itself. That's fine. And like I said, the other option is you can just mirror over the 3D cursor, in which case I would need to press Shift S, move the cursor back to the world origin here, and then Alt X. You can press Tab to go in and out of the advanced mode here, and there's like different settings, and then you could just mirror that way. And then you can just go ahead and apply that mirror modifier, and you're good to go. Now the last thing I want to do here is just add a small bevel modifier. We're going to press Q, we're going to go to bevel, we're going to press N to bevel that. And we're basically going to get this type of effect right here. It's a small little like indentation. I could even go in and make like a larger bevel in some of these different areas, like right here for example. Could make a larger bevel there, make a larger bevel here, larger bevel here. You could do something like that. And then maybe here on this one, same idea. You can just do a bevel on that one, bevel on this one as well to create that type of effects. And there you go. Now let's go ahead and introduce one more Boolean cut here before we wrap this up. I'm going to press Shift A. We're going to add in a cylinder. 64 vertices is fine. And basically what I want to do here is scale this down. Just move this to one corner. It doesn't matter which one. And then just scale this up, make sure it's going all the way through the object, and then you can run a difference Boolean. Now I haven't mentioned this, but the way I like to run my Booleans just by habit is you select the object and then you shift click on the object you want to cut. Usually what I do is I press Control- on the number pad. That's completely fine. You can do that. That's just my habit. Another option, which I think is quicker, I just haven't really built it as a habit, is you can press Q and then just click on difference, because Hard Ops is going to identify that, oh, you probably want to run a Boolean here. Let me show you the difference operation. Now you could go here to Booleans. You can see all the different Boolean options, but Hard Ops just assumes, okay, he probably wants to run a difference Boolean. And the nice thing is if you ever want to switch the Boolean type, you just select the cutter, you press Q, and then you go to Shift Boolean or Shift Bool, same thing. And you can shift through different Boolean types, which is really nice. Now here's a good example of where I would want to mirror over the 3D cursor. Right now, the origin point on this cutter is in the center of the cutter. So if I mirror that, it's just going to mirror over itself, right? In this case, it's going to make sense to mirror over the 3D cursor. So Alt X, you can press Tab or just go up here. Make sure the orientation is set to global in this case. And then we're going to go to cursor here that will mirror over the cursor. Then we click here, Alt X, and you always click on the side you're mirroring from. It's kind of counterintuitive. You might think, okay, I want to mirror to this side. I click here. That's not how it works. You choose the side you're mirroring from, okay? So we're going to go ahead, choose that, and then we're mirroring from this side on the Y. So we'll click here, and then you basically have this type of result right here. Now the last thing I want to do is a kind of a cool trick. I'm going to go to the Q menu and then press Ever Scroll. And I'm just going to move this face down really, really close to the top and then press Alt-N to flip the normals. What this will do is when I add in a bevel, it's going to bevel in the inverse direction, as you can see here. Otherwise, it would bevel inside. That's why we flip the normal there. So I can go ahead and non-destructively add a chamfer right there on the object, which is super cool. And then in this case, again, I probably don't want to mirror over the 3D cursor here, although it could work. In this case, I might just want to mirror over the, object itself. So that's kind of how you're going to use the mirrors in different situations like that, right? And there you go. So that's a little bit of a basic introduction to Hard Ops here. That is how I would use some of the basic operations, Booleans, cuts, mirrors, basic stuff like that. Just work on basic models like this and you'll start getting the hang of it very quickly. Now, if you want to learn our entire Hard Ops and Boxcutter workflow, we have a full training program teaching you all the tools, all the operations, everything completely from scratch. So you'll start by learning the tools, and then at the end, there's going to be a full modeling project where you can basically create this truck right here using the tools. So it's theory, and then it's full implementation. So if you want to learn Hard Ops and Boxcutter from scratch, I'll link the training program down below in the description. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.